So the Russians are kind of losing their crap over the bridge. And it's really interesting to watch because it's like they have this idea that they can say whatever they want, anything that they want about, or do anything about to the Ukrainians. But if the Ukrainians say anything or do anything back to them, it's on. I mean, we have to show those cockroaches how it is. So here is the Russian media monitor, and we're going to watch and see what is said on Russian TV, and I'll pause periodically. I'm going to mute this, and then I'm going to read the subtitles. All of their fears disappeared. They clearly decided that they can do absolutely anything to us. Part of the span of the Crimean bridge has collapsed. The repairs won't take a few days or a few weeks. According to the preliminary data, it will take over a month if these British drones, on an emotional level, a strike against London comes to mind, a Tower Bridge. Emotions aside, it's time to do something about it. So, yeah, that's right. It would be quite an emotional experience if the bridge in London was hit. That is exactly the point. That's why the Kerch was hit. Somebody made a great observation about the Kerch, that just that the Kerch Bridge was built on Ukrainian territory that you stole from them in 2014. That bridge itself is an insult in and of itself. Okay, let's keep going. Go ahead, Leonard. What should we do? First, we should ask those who built this bridge about how seriously they went about building it. That's one thing. You know, just one day earlier, I was thinking, NATO is dragging us and Ukraine into this unstoppable spiral of war. Wait, NATO's not doing anything. You did this to yourself. NATO is supporting Ukraine defend themselves. You did this. And I keep hearing the same kind of thing where nobody in Russia takes any responsibility for Russia having to invade. It's like, they made me have to stab them. I couldn't help it. It's because of them. It's constant blaming the victim. A little bit more. More than that, they said, here are some cluster munitions for you. There is Russia. Go ahead and do whatever you want. They're such victims. I mean, it's amazing. I was thinking, for example, maybe someone in Ukraine will understand that it's time to stop at long last. There are those lost lives on both sides. At some point, it has to stop. It's true. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Every day you're pondering which way we should go. In 1932, both Roosevelt and Stalin could see and accept that war is inevitable. What should we do? Raise up our country. I think in this situation, war is unavoidable. We should raise up our country. Putin understands this. In the coming years, unfortunately, we will have to raise up our country. Now, what he's saying is absolutely what Putin is thinking. I went through an article in my last video that was talking about how they are actually, for sophomores in high school, juniors and seniors, teaching basic military training as of this coming year because they have zero appetite for not being involved in this war anymore. They're going to continue. Right now, the most important thing is to fix the bridge. This is the second, and unfortunately, a successful terrorist act is not a terrorist act that Ukraine carried out against Russia's most important transport infrastructure item. This is also a symbol. What do these terrorist attacks say? Especially the second one, that there were defects in the security system. Okay, so he's right. It is a symbol. That's why they attacked it, because it was such a potent symbol. And it just shows you can't defend it because you're that much weaker than what you're projecting. So they talk about how there were defects in the security system of the Crimean bridge, which were exploited by our adversary. We need a sort of purge of Russia's political elites. Amen, brother. I am more than happy to agree to that. A purge of Russia's elites. Let's purge the generals. Let's purge the elites. Let's purge the entire boyar class. I agree. Anyone with ties like real estate, wives, mistresses, or kids in the West. They should be used the way we used to utilize military specialists under control of commissars. In this instance, they would be under the control of the FSB and other security agendas. These people should work and live under surveillance. You know, since Russia has done what it's done to Ukraine, it has done so much damage to its own self, to its own freedom and liberty within Russia. What you can't say, what you can't think, what you have to be for or against. It's just amazing to watch. Or else let them return their assets to the Russian Federation. We know their names. We know their names. In the past, we even had a deputy prime ministers who owned luxury chateaus and mansions in the West. Human resources policies. So if they have a mansion, it has to be in Russia. For bureaucrats, we have Crimea. Well, not for long. Let them relocate there from the French Riviera to the coast of the Black Sea or the Azov Sea. Otherwise, let's do something at long last. What he's calling for is this weird patriotic nationalism that is almost Soviet in its spirit. Authoritarian, tyrannical, totalitarian in its form. And it's really amazing. Now, what's more amazing than this is carried on Russian TV to the people, but it's also, they're simultaneously speaking to Putin at the same time, and they know that. That's really the surprising thing about this. We need a normal nationalization. Where is our glorious oligarchy? Let the ones who have the biggest dollar fortunes, let our billionaires say, I'm giving $500 million toward the restoration of the Crimean bridge. Let's have 5 or 10 of them set an example. Let's stimulate these people. We have our methods. We just need the political will. Yeah, that's right. Steal from the rich and give to your coffers. I mean, it's a really interesting thing. I mean, they don't even see just how devolving they are in what they're suggesting, but this is where we are. They're just losing it. It's mind-blowing to watch in real time. Once it's demonstrated, we'll see the consolidation of the people and socially responsible representatives of big business. The issue of social justice is a key issue in the conditions of the special military operation. Yeah, let's try that social justice. Now, I'm no social justice warrior, as you can imagine, but I would love to see Russia inflict this kind of social justice upon itself. Just eat yourself alive. Just go after all the oligarchs within your own country to make them show their patriotism. That sounds like a great idea. In the conditions of the special military operation, Dmitry Medvedev ritually acknowledged that all terrorists have to be destroyed. Yeah, and you know what Medvedev said? He said that they should go after their houses, their families, their relatives. That's what he talked about, like going after the Ukrainian authorities' relatives. Like, this bridge wasn't terroristy enough. They want to show that they're even bigger terrorists. Wow. Okay. He often makes these kinds of announcements. At some point, it becomes quite awkward because the Russian government is not doing anything like that. We don't know why. Perhaps there are reasons. This time, Medvedev said that all these insects, all these roaches, have to be found and killed, regardless of which holes they are sitting in. He was addressing it to Budanov and Zaluzhny. Many have noticed that exactly 1 year ago, Dmitry Medvedev announced that if an attack against Russian Crimea takes place, a judgment day will come for Zelensky. I think that Zelensky gave an order for this terror act because he saw so many people on Telegram and TV standing in lines for many hours. The people are rushing to Crimea for a vacation. He was green with envy. Yeah, that's why he did it. It had nothing to do with that you were in his country and you shouldn't have been, and you were conducting a full-scale war against him. It was because he was green with envy. These people have never... They just can't seem to wrap their minds around that it could be something other than these other things that they're reaching for. Maybe it's because you shouldn't be in their country, but they can't seem to get past that. And they keep creating these crazy arguments to kind of justify what it is. It's like they're losing it and decided to ruin their vacations. We should act much harsher. Yes, Lordy, it's about time. Okay, so that's what's on Russian television. This is absolutely fascinating to watch. It's like they see Ukrainians and they can't possibly see humanity in them. But anything that affects Russia is terrible. It's a terrorist incident, right? Just hear how many times they called this terrorism in this video, in my last video, and the video before that. All you hear is that they're terrorists and they need to be destroyed. They never come around to the actual cause of the Ukrainians, so they're going to continue to misjudge their adversary. It's like they have Ukrainian derangement syndrome, for lack of a better term. I'm just coining that. That's where they are. And they're never going to be able to see straight as long as they hang on to this syndrome. Okay, that's all that I have. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.